as we're starting the race now. The lights are coming on. The lights are kind of obscured behind the Emirates sign, but they are out and we are away. It looks like the two Alfa Romeos have had pretty similar starts, but it is Vapid Coupe who's had the better one, and he takes the lead into turn 1. Liam and Shaggy pretty close. Shaggy has gained a position off the start and is now trying to fight Liam. A little bit of contact though, I think that was. Alan slips his way through into P4 on those soft tyres. He's got to make those moves fast if he wants to make
and Ellis
out of that soft compound tyres.
And he was lagging all over the place, and I saw wings come up and then he spun and...
Oh, that's not ideal. It's not ideal. Do you want to still check Ellis? Because if he is still lagging, then we will most definitely have to get him out of the race, obviously. Just keep on checking him, and if you think he's lagging too much, then you might have to get him out of the race. But yeah, now on board with Alan, as he is now looking to try and get past Liam. Liam takes a very aggressive line there. Kind of chops Alan up on entry, and Alan's lost all those places. So he had a brilliant start, but has dropped down to P9 after that little incident with Liam. As it is absolute chaos in the midfield. It's so close between so many people. As now Shaggy's trying to make it past Liam. They're going side by side. Liam ran the outside. There's the yellow flag, and that is a red gone. I think that's Darren. Although Liam and Shaggy still having an excellent battle. Shaggy with a switchback. And I think he's made the move stick. There's another yellow flag. Who's that that's gone? I think that's Morris. Oh my god, there's so many people are just dying on the first lap. It's absolute carnage. It's absolute carnage. So I'm going to get up the position change at the end of the first lap. And yeah, look at that. Just so many position changes. We've got Ellis and Morris, the big losers of lap 1. Alan also a decent loser. Bad also the big winner, as is Owen on those hard compound tyres. Running quite well. What a start.
Yeah, the legendary made at P9.
Oh, Bad Otto's gone. Not another one. Not another one's gone. That is, yeah, once again, chaos. As a Bad Otter has spun and yeah, at some point this race is going to settle down. Not quite yet. As I think Danny D is potentially going to make a move on LSW Legend, using a lot of his batteries, legendary Danny D. Legend goes defensive to the inside. Danny D tries to keep it in, makes a bit of contact with Legend. Oh, but he can't make the move stick. But wow, I mean, this is epic stuff at the moment. Morgan and Liam battling it out like they were last week. Is Morgan going to think about making a move? No, he's not. Liam breaks a little later there, and almost potentially thinks about making a move on Shaggy, but he can't make that just yet. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Owen on those hard compound tyres, he is in this train in the medium runners, and he is, I think, here to stay, and this could potentially be really, really good for Owen's race. As the race goes on, it's harder to get closer and closer to the medium runners. And he'll be able to stay in this train. If he does stay as one big train, which I think it might, that's going to be really, really good for him as Alan nips past Moley into turn 1. Obviously those soft compound tyres are still better at this stage, but Moley goes for the switchback. Does he make it? No, he doesn't. He gets passed by Mason Gammon. Oh, was Legend's gone. Legend has spun. Legend has spun. He has completely lost it all by himself in turn 1. And then it's only Legend gone. Oh, yeah, this track, it's causing absolute chaos at the moment.
So that's like 6 drivers all spun or gone already. Only lap 3. At least was the first one to spin.
Or now Liam's trying to get past Shaggy. Shaggy leaves in space. Bit of wheel banging throughout the chicane, all well and good. Oh, but Shaggy's gone! Shaggy's now half spun as well. He's recovered his car to P5, but that is once again another bit of contact between drivers, and Shaggy a bit gone as well. He's now spotted side by side with Mason Gammon in the 3rd sector. Still holding it in, there's another bit of contact, and Alan nips his way in as well, but Alan's made contact, and Alan's half spun as well. Oh my god, guys, remember it's a 27 lap race. You don't need to be making contact with each other this early on. There's so much left of this race. There's so much left of this race, and you're doing that now. Just calm down, lads, calm down. It's still a long race.
Yeah, just find a bit of a groove and just, and Predator's slightly taps the back of Owen and nearly causing Predators to spin. keep hold of it.
Yeah, it's the two Alfa Romeos whilst this has been going on. They've absolutely scampered clear of the grid. They've used this chaos in the midfield, so for lack of a better word, to build a 3-second gap to Morgan already, and they're staying each other's DRS quite nicely here. Both with a healthy amount of ERS as well.
Although
Vial's actually just lost the DRS. Yeah, that also spun, so that is another spin.
I believe he was battling with a Primus, and I think he's just lost traction into turn 2.
Was now Predator's getting past Owen. Owen does not really fight that. Neither does Morgan on Liam, I don't think. Although I say that, Morgan then is licking Liam's rear bumper coming out of the chicane, so clearly does want to maybe make that move back.
It's going to have a look.
Oh, not Morgan, mate. Morgan, mate, you don't need to touch his rear end like that. That is, that is a recipe for a spin if I've ever seen one. If you keep on touching someone's back end, and they may make a bit of a mistake, you brake a little bit late, and suddenly you're right near, and suddenly they're right out of contention. They're both spun.
Yes,
It was now Mason Gammon and Shaggy, and Mason Gammon's got the racing line here. Do they dare go side by side in turn 1? Shaggy's put on a little bit of a squeeze. Mason Gammon has to take the inside curb. I guess his elbow's out and makes the move. It's Mason Gammon up into P5.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got 1.2 seconds ahead of his teammate now, so surprising.
Indeed he does. He's pulled out quite nicely. From VR. And at the moment that gap's kind of staying consistent, so I kind of would have half expected them to work together back into allow VR to get in his DRS.
No. Backed out of it, and that was Danny D to come in to play then. And Alan's he's had a slight twitch there coming out of the corner.
Oh god, this will get ugly,
Danny D was faster, but he's kind of caged in doing both.
Yeah, he also ran out of ERS as well, so also wasn't ideal. Also, there's a bit of contact, I think, there as Predators nips his way through Danny D as well. Predators maybe even try and move around the outside of Moley. Can he hold that in? Just going side by side as the yellow flag is set to 3. That is Pro's gaming has gone. Predators and Moley still battling it out.
As Primus has lost his whole front wing, so he'll be coming into the pit zone.
As now Moley's also wasting Danny D as well, so this is just all of a sudden Moley was fighting for P7 and now finds himself potentially passed by Owen.
Yeah, he gets that done, very nicely done then.
Oh yeah, I love this P10, but unfortunately for Owen, this train's lost quite a lot of ground to the top 6. Shaggy's quite a bit clear as Primus getting retires in the pit lane. Disappointing end to his race.
Yeah. He's probably going to have a look on Alan, and he's using his DRS to try and capture up. And does have DRS from Predators in front, so cancels it out.
Oh, he's gone very deep. Has he been hit by Owen there? Has he just lost it by himself? I'm really not sure. Comes back onto the track, doesn't pick up any penalties. Actually going to lose a place to Moley. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. I don't know whether he did get caught. I think he might have just completely outbroke himself, actually, legendary Danny D. Yeah. It's a really bizarre mistake.
It's very interesting. And so Danny D is on the back of Moley, so I think that's the closest battle so far. There's no
Owen's just behind him,
as well. So he's probably going to look at Danny D coming out of the last corner then. Yeah, the traction.
Oh, Alan pits early. Alan pits really early. It's very surprising. I mean, I know you do have to pit quite early off of the soft on-down tyres to make that strategy work, but I didn't realise Alan was going to pit that early. I don't know what tyres he's going to put on. He's put on a set of medium, so he's going for a 2-stop strategy. That is
interesting. Maybe banking on a late safety car or something.
yeah, it's not something I'd want to necessarily have my strategy rely on, but could be a decent shout if we do get one. Because now the field, yeah, it's kind of spaced out from each other a bit.
Slowly catching up to Liam. Let's go have a look down the inside.
Morgan has yeah, he does have a little look, but yeah, he's nowhere near making the move there. And yeah, doesn't make that move stick.
He's just coming out of the corner now.
Could potentially close it. Threads.
Side by side with Liam going around a long right hander. And he's gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. They made contact. Morgan, does he avoid the wall? Yes, he does. Oh, he's reset. Oh god, that is not the way you want to reset the track there. I don't know whether the game's automatically reset him. Hopefully, we can get a clip of that if it has, but.
It could have possibly been
Morgan,
because of how quick it reset to track after you like near the wall, so.
Yeah, sometimes I know France does do that, so I'm gonna give Morgan the benefit of the doubt and say that he did until we have any evidence otherwise. But yeah, that was very, very scary there, and Morgan gets his way right back into the midfield. Yeah, that's
yeah, because if that didn't happen, he would have probably been at P15 at least. So.
Yeah, he would have been right back down. He would have had to reverse all the way back on track. Potentially probably gained more time than 10 seconds from reset to track that. Yeah, Pazuzu reckons it was the game. Yeah, the game. Yeah, I think the game might do that though. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully Morgan can provide proof if it indeed was the game.
So you have a look at Liam, and then he does backs out a bit, maybe trying to see if he gets more traction coming out of the corner.
Yeah, of course, Mason Gammon has now replaced Morgan's spot as the driver battling SLR Liam. So yeah, Liam, he's got his elbows out, he's not been afraid to fight. I'm not entirely sure whose fault the incident was between him and Morgan. There was a bit of contact between them, obviously, but I don't think Morgan would be too happy, but we'll see if that does go to the stewards. It is very difficult to go side by side there.
Yeah, especially if he's just his front wing is just like on the back of him as well. It's always something that's possibly going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think they were going side by side, so it might have just been that. Maybe Morgan's understeered into Liam. Liam's got a bit of kick of oversteer on exit, gone into Morgan. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But all that matters is that Morgan's dropped down to P12. There's now Adrian comes into the pits off his softs. He's taken them 8
on the inside of
laps.
Liam to turn 1, and he gets it done.
Yeah. Pretty easy move there. But Liam is going to try and fight back though. Oh, Mason does show the cold shoulder on exit. I think that was fair enough, to be honest, from Mason. He's... Oh, Zion picks up a penalty. But yeah, I think that was Mason's corner, and Liam ultimately backs out, tries to hold him, but can't quite do it. Zalman sets the fastest lap of the race, obviously on his new mediums.
It's not fast lap as Liam's going to have a look down the inside. Got past him quite easily.
Yep, they're swapping positions yet again. Yep. As is Owen on legendary Danny D. They are. I like to think they're working together and trying to catch back up.
Yeah, you don't.
Because they are trying to close up to Preds, and they have gained time. You're like, ultimately, if you are behind the driver and you're in the DRS of each other, I would be inclined to try and fight to get back in, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's close battle. Is it probably Mason? Is he gonna? Are we gonna go down into turn 1? And can you get the traction? Maybe too far behind now, I think.
Yeah, I think legendary Danny D's going to make an easy move on Owen. Yeah, easy move. And they have lost a bit of time to Preds there, actually, in this battling, so it's not working out ideally for them, but...
Alex is just behind Owen, and he is in the medium tyre compared to Owen's hard, so he might be able to look down this back straight then.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, obviously Owen does have DRS himself, and I think, yeah, Mason and Liam are going to swap places yet again. Liam just lifts off the straight just to let Mason go there, and they are trying to gain in the R36. Oh, as Mason has a bit of a wiggle, and that's going to maybe allow Liam to go back past. Side by side here, not again. Liam this time is on the inside. And makes the move stick. But Mason goes for the switchback. Mason goes for the switchback, and they're losing each other so much time doing this. Liam does keep the position, or does he? Because Mason Gammon gets an excellent drive.
Oh.
Mason Gammon then suddenly decides to use that to pit. That's the Shaggy. So there are the first of the pit stoppers on the medium compound tyres.
Yeah, as Morgan's coming to the pits now as well behind him. It's just them forgetting a bit. So they're putting on Mason, Shaggy, and Morgan's all putting on the hard tyres. So.
Yep, that's a logical choice there from that situation. They should easily go to the end of the race, and they've actually overcut SLR Allen pit from the midfield, I believe that was.
Yeah. I'm on board with Ellis and see if he can catch up to Owen Howell, because he's right on the back of him now. He's using his ERS. Look down the inside, possibly. Late break from Owen.
Oh, yep, just got on board with that. Yeah, that is a good defensive driving from Owen, and still keeps the position, but Ellis is going to try and pulls back up. He can't do it, and it stays behind. Might have a little bit of a run into this next braking zone, though. As I'm sure these drivers are going to be thinking of pitting a bit soon. I think the two Alfa Romeos have got to be careful that they don't leave themselves open to the undercut. Of course, neither of them are pitted, as VR is the first of those drivers to pit. Liam comes in as well. What about Preds? Preds going to pit? No, he stays out. This is Danny D, interestingly. That is generally most of the drivers in for their one and only pit stop of the race now. Vapid Coup is a massive lead of the Predators. Just shows how much he's pulled away from the midfield. Got 10 seconds now. So yeah, I mean, that is an excellent drive, an excellent first stint from Vapid Coup at the moment. As Legend's actually recovered quite well as well. He's only 4 seconds behind Danny D and Owen after that spin, so going very well. There's Shaggy and Mason Gammon. Shaggy and Mason Gammon, of course, I think they pit on the same lap, and they're still battling it out. They closed up a couple of seconds to VR actually, but still aren't quite with him. He is still quite comfortable, but they're now battling with each other. This would be for the final spot on the podium. Of course, they do both have penalties, and Liam behind doesn't, but Mason Gammon up the inside of Shaggy, and yeah, this battle's not over. It's going to keep on going to the end of the race. With these drivers, nothing to separate them. Still battling out.
He's just behind him. They did have a slight wiggle coming out of the corner, but come from it fine. So look down the inside.
Shaggy's going. Oh, that is still battling.
Bring Liam into the play after that.
Into that corner. Yeah, I don't know why they're fighting so hard, but
yeah, it's like Alan is just behind him as well, so it's a full-car train before me now.
Yes, now everyone has pit except for Preds and Owen. I think Bad also. I think he still gets pit as he spends the pit lane.
Swed. Yeah, I'll come out then, he comes out. P4.
Yes. Oh, as Liam's just knocked his way past Shaggy. Whilst that was happening, he got undercut by Mason and Shaggy, but he just nipped his way past Shaggy and is up into P6, which is an effective P4 once Owen and Preds make their pit stops. And I'm really intrigued to see the progress of Owen when he makes his pit stop off those hard compound tyres. To be lightning fast.
Oh yeah. Is that dropping down? Was that Ellis dropping down? Let his teammate pass?
I think, yeah, they were battling last lap, so I think that will be that, as Liam has now just got past Mason Gammon again. I think Mason's going to try and want to get back through. No, he's not using any battery, so he isn't. So for once, we're going to see not some wheel-to-wheel battling in the final sector between Mason, Liam and Shaggy. It's been going on all race. Tell you what we might see is a battle between legendary Danny D and Adrian. Danny D not quite close enough to make the move.
CSC Morris a legend, Morris just behind legend on mediums. So yeah, I know what the legend is. Slightly a bit wide, but it's pretty fine.
Yeah, still running. Yeah, legend still running in P13, so potentially without those penalties could be looking for a decent point scoring position. Should he not pick up a single pen and keep at it, as now, for what is P1 at the moment, Owen has now closed into the DRS of Predators. And Predators is committed to staying out of these mediums. So I don't know whether he's planning on going onto softs in the later stages of this race. Perhaps ARL Predators, that is potentially what we could see.
Possibly. Owen's going to be liking this when he's getting a bit of DRS, so helping him pull away from the group.
Yes, Mason and Liam are now swapping positions yet again. Can't say I'm too surprised at that.
Sure, we'll see a few more of that for the rest of the race.
Could maybe see a few more of that for the rest of the lap, as Liam is right behind Mason Gammon. Is he going to value his own track time, or is he going to value having some fun and sending it off the inside of Mason Gammon? Mason Gammon does go very aggressive on the steering there, very defensive, and does indeed keep the position.
Does back out of that, so it would be very dangerous for Ellis to battle his teammate going into that corner then. Right on behind him.
Yep. Yeah, he's right up behind him, and I think Owen potentially, as Ellis picks up a penalty, I think Owen potentially make a move on Preds here for P1 at this stage of the race.
Feels like gap is about half a second, so can get it done.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, both of them have. Well, I say Owen has a lot more ERS actually than Preds. Yeah, I think what they need to do here is they need to work together, not lose too much time. They are both on the only drivers on the alternate strategy. There's two different alternate strategies between them. So they are going to want to work together a bit here. Go back on board with Owen to see whether he is going to try and make a move on Prez this lap. No, he's not. Not quite yet, anyway.
Bobby Legend, he might have got a run on CSC Morris here to P13. He's got the DRS to it.
Yeah, Morris pitted for mediums very early on, so yeah, definitely has to make another stop. Although Legend, yeah, I think Legend's turned in on Morris a bit there. He's still alongside, and yeah, turned in to the apex a bit. Potentially a bit similar to what happened between, I think it was Liam and Moley. I can't remember 100%. It was someone.
Might back
happened to. No, I think it was earlier on this race. I think it was on lap 1. I can't remember who it was between, but definitely happened. Yeah, that is not ideal for Morris. Dropped down to P17 with another pit stop to make, and yeah, that is really painful race at the moment, sadly, for CSC Morris.
It's that gap for Vapiku is slowly coming down, and it's down to nearly 7 seconds.
There's the yellow flag is set to 3. Was that? I think that's Morris going back into the pits. That was weird.
That seems to... well, not like last. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's kind of like half spun out the final corner and then use that to go into the pits. Who knows?
It's another set of mediums then to the end of the race.
Indeed, it's Liam thinking about a move on Mason Gammon. Nope. Still stays in the same position as Adrian and legendary Danny D are swapping positions. Adrian, of course, went for the soft to hard. He's running reasonably well on those hard compound tyres. They are a bit older than the rest around him, though, so potentially could struggle towards the end of the race. Gap to lead is an interesting one, because at the moment Preds and Owen, they're going to come out quite far down, but they're going to be on a much faster tyre than the rest.
Yeah, it's fine.
And is this the lap is that the lap Owen finally gets past Preds? Yes, it is. So Owen is now into the lead. I'll tell you what these guys would really like is a safety car. If they had a safety car, I'm pretty sure everyone would be forced to pit. And they're going to be on fresh softs and well and truly in the money.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be so fast on those fresh softs anyway. I mean, genuinely, like, could be in a really good position here.
Yeah, could make it very interesting if safety car does come out, so it's not looking likely at the minute. I don't think anyone's had close to major crashes at the moment, so...
yeah, don't jinx it though. Don't jinx it. I've said that before, and then someone's binned it literally one corner later, and that is something that can happen.
It's possible on this track, but it's quite a lot of runoff in there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It has been relatively clean in terms of that. There has been a few spins, but other than that, it's been relatively fine in terms of big.
Checking balance side by side with the long round of them. Small Island is still in front.
Oh yeah, I'm just going to go back to that.
And slight contact, but he managed to stay in front. So I've noticed Kuhn's gaps now down to 5.9 seconds there. He's slowly catching up.
Yeah, obviously on those fresher tyres.
Another penalty.
Prez has taken those mediums to lap 18. That is a mighty stint.
Oh yeah. I wonder what it's like trying to handle them. It's sure they've not got any grip left on them now, to be honest. I'll probably come in the pits very soon.
Yeah, Preds is going to have to pit this lap, literally this lap, or he'll get a puncture. Owen is going to be able to stay out another couple of laps to Preds if he really wants to, which I think would be the optimal call. As Shaggy and Alan once again battling. Alan's mediums have dropped off relative to those hard tyres around him. But Alan does manage to stay ahead as Liam picks up a penalty. Is that his first penalty of the race? Yes, it is. So that is all of those drivers, Mason, Liam, Alan, Shaggy, all on the same penalties. So yeah, the fight for P3 really hotting up.
Yeah, as Predator's got to come in the slacks. He's already dropped 2 seconds behind Owen now, so be crazy not to.
Yeah, Owen does stay out. He's got to stay out for another lap or two, really. But Preds, yes, he does come in and is now going onto those soft compound tyres. And he's going to try and make the moves towards the end of this race. It's going to be a very, very exciting stint for ARL Predators. He is one that is known to go for a different strategy. And I'm really excited to see how that one works. Really excited. Could be right up there come the end of the race. To see where he comes out. I'm gonna go on board with him. Because he is gonna be so quick. He's going to be so quick in these first couple of laps out of the pits. It's going to be mental.
Yeah, it's up P13 then.
Yeah, he could be in P10 by the end of this lap if he has a good lap. Here we are, on board with ARL Predators. Blind LSW legend. Just look how much more grip he's going to have through here. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, he's flying out of what's going on.
Not too much, actually. Not as good a grip as I thought he'd have, but he has got the DRS enabled. Inside of Predators, and yep, easy move for ARL Predators. But to P12.
Should be,
Let's
be a
now
good
think
battle
Alan and
with
Shaggy.
Alan and Shaggy V6 because Alan's right on the back of him again. So they keep swapping positions every couple of laps.
As now Owen finally comes in for his pit stop. 8 laps on the softs. Should be able to do that quite comfortably, and yeah, he's going to be electric as well. Predators is trying to close into Morgan and Ellis, and that's going to be quite important with Owen as well. Because if Predators gets ahead of Owen, then Owen is going to be going at his soft pace rather than his own.
See where he comes out then.
He's exiting the pit lane now. Limiter off.
It's gonna be just in front of Perez.
So close with Perez. He needs to stay ahead, and he does. That is crucial for Owen's race. He's on the fresher soft tyres, and he's going to be charging through.
I'm gonna get past Morgan quickly here then. So much quicker. He's having a look at every corner, see if you can try and get past him.
Yeah, he's got to be really aggressive here. You've got to be really aggressive. Use your tyres early on. As here we are. As Liam and Mason Gammon once again swap positions. As far as there, although Mason Gammon is going to get the switchback, I'm going to stay on board with this and then go on board with Owen. As Owen, has he made a double move here? Yes, he has. A little bit dodgy there with Ellis. But yeah, there's potentially going to be something to be sent in, but oh well, let's not worry about that.
So 2.5 second gap to Adrian, which that's going to come down very quickly.
He is going to come down very quickly. I wonder how high up he can get. That is the question. Could he get up to this fight for the top 3? I think he's got a decent bit of a chance of it because those softs are so quick. They are so quick. Already got the DRS on board.
Yeah, gaps.
And
still come down to 1.5 second. Adrian.
Yeah, probably a purple sector 3. No, actually not a purple sector 3. It's a little bit surprising. Oh well. Yeah, and whilst this has been going on, VR and Vapid have just been chilling. They've just been vibing, they've been minding their own business, and have not been attacked at all by anyone else, as Liam goes quite wide there actually. And look, once again, Mason Gammon versus SLR Liam.
Morgan's Breds did get past him turn 1, but Morgan did switch back and got back in front again, so...
Let's go on Owen, watch. As he is not quite close enough to Adrian and legendary Danny D as of yet, but
yeah, Adrian does quite a lot very DRS to defend still.
Yeah, and to attack on Danny D. I think he's just waiting. I think he's just waiting potentially to the end of the race. If he can stay with Danny D, then he can potentially get past him to the end of the race. As yeah, entering lap 22, I believe this is. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's still VR and Vapid who have that lead over the rest of the field. It is still a relatively slender one though. Like they've not completely bolted away, but they have had very good drives. There we are, fastest lap of the race by Owen Howe. He's now right with Adrian and Danny D.
It's a good little three-way battle. Be at Mini with Legend, Morgan and Ellis all right next to each other.
Yeah, it is only for P11 though. It is only for P11 though, so it's not really going to count for anything from the end of the race, sadly. But yeah, here we are from Owen. He's trying to close up to Adrian and Danny D. Danny D goes defensive as Adrian's using quite a lot of battery. He's actually going to try and move on Danny. Yes, he is. Watch this in from Owen as he's going to try and get as good an exit as he possibly can on the pair of them. Yeah, let's just see how he navigates this final section, see how he get through these two ahead of him. Is he going to launch it here? No, he's not making a move yet. getting caught up behind traffic a little bit on his softs. Not really made the inroads he would have wanted to in the first couple of laps.
Yeah, really
Still
needs
can't
to
get
clear
past Danny
these quickly to give you a chance to win the podium.
Yeah, I think that lap behind them is going to be quite crucial. Danny is going to try and get back past Adrian, but no, he can't do it. And I think Alan's potentially trying to go to the end on his mediums. That's pond. Shaggy picks up a penalty, as does Morris. That is really not good for Shaggy in the fight for the podium. As Vapiku made a bit of a mistake. I think VR and Mason Gammon have closed in quite a bit on them.
Yeah, the gap was at about 3 seconds, but it's now 1.5 seconds as well. So I'm just fastest in the lap.
Yeah, he's on newer softs. There's a yellow flag in section 2. Morgan's out. Morgan's
no
out.
Safety car.
Is that going to be a safety car? Oh, as Danny and Adrian are gone.
No safety
car.
car.
It nips through Adrian. There is no safety car. That is.
Well, it's going to spice a race up for us.
Yeah, I was hoping for one, to be honest. But no, there is no safety car for Morgan's crash. And that is SLR Morgan out of the race. Your first major crash of the session. Yeah, whilst that was going on, Danny D and Adrian made a bit of contact with each other. We'll have to see if... Where's the steward? And as Charlie's asked, what are pens looking like? I'll get the pens up. You've got Shaggy and Alan on 6 seconds. And as you can see, the main battle for the podium is between Mason Gammon and Liam. VR and Vapid doing excellently without one. As is Adrian, who could, if he can stick with Owen, potentially gain a couple of places even more. Especially on Alan if Alan's tyres hit the cliff.
Yeah, because we're going to get very close now on 17 laps. Still got 3 more laps to go. 3. So have to nurse him out. Make sure you don't get a punch or anything.
Yeah. Golden Egg Fries asked, why did Danny attempt the overtake on the yellows and Owen overtake on the yellows? That part of the track wasn't yellow flagged. It was the part before, earlier on in Sector 2, where SLR Morgan was when SLR Morgan crashed. So, yeah, it wasn't that part of the track that was under yellow flag. So the simple answer is they didn't overtake under yellows. As there's another yellow flag, and that is LSW Legend has lost it.
Oh dear. Yeah, it happened just before the straight, didn't it? Yeah, the corner just before the straight must have spun down the wall.
Yeah, just before the straight. And then obviously there was a yellow flag when there was a spun car, obviously, but yeah, that explains that one.
It's
now Owen has goes right up to Alan. So Alan's tyres are going to be absolutely ruined here. If Alan doesn't get a puncher, I'll be very surprised.
Oh yeah, he's got to hang on and hope now, see if he can stay in the points.
Yeah, he's done the soft medium, but he's pitted a bit earlier than you would normally think it would be viable to pit for the mediums, but he's gone for a bold strategy. Yeah, he's sticking with it, and it's still in the points.
He's just got to stay out, 'cause he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so...
Yeah, he's going to drop way down with a pit stop, so yeah, he does have to stay out, and now Owen is going to probably make quite light work of him. The inside on the DRS straight and into P6.
Maybe I've been on for looks, he's got me fast.
Not going to fight it.
No.
Yeah, Pred's obviously on those softs as well. No, I can't make anything work. And the Haas driver. But I think the key battle now, from now to the end of the race, is Liam versus Mason Gammon for the podium. Liam versus Mason Gammon for the podium. As before then, Preds is still looking to try and get past Alan, but can't make the move stick. It's just not close enough. Just not close enough, and those softs are going to be very, very weary as well. But yeah, who's getting this final podium spot? They got the same amount of penalties, Liam and Mason Gammon.
Yeah, if you keep changing every couple of, like, 1 or 2 laps, look at that.
Liam does have a bit more Liam does have a bit more ERS, and maybe he's just waiting until that final lap. But Mason Gammon does seem to be able to pull away quite nicely in the first sections, then Preds does indeed get past Alan.
But this is slowly creeping up on VR though, because it's down to 1.3 seconds now.
Yeah, it's just key whether he gets VR's DRS. That's what he's going to be hoping for. So if you can get VR's DRS, then he should be able to be clear of Liam. And I think it's this section here, actually, that he gains a lot on Liam. Liam closes it back with the DRS, potentially straight line speed as well, just with his setup, and obviously with potentially with the third sector. Yeah, that's mad. He gains like 7/10 on the straight with DRS. It is literally just all because of Mason Gammon's exit onto the back straight. So if Liam gets a good exit, then could be looking for a potential P3 as the yellow flag is exit 2, and that is Ellis. That is Ellis. It's gone. So that is not the way he wanted to win that race. P13, so yeah, nightmare really for Ellis.
Yeah, Alan.
Now entering the final lap, and it is still Vapid, Coot and VR who are 1-2.
You're watching Alan, he's really struggling out there.
Yeah, his tire's going to be awful, but I'm watching Liam, because Liam versus Mason Gammon, this is the battle for the podium here. Mason Gammon's light is flashing, so Liam does have a bit more ERS than him. I think that must have been a warning there until on for Liam. But yeah, here we are. This is the most important section of the track. Liam, if he really wants this podium, needs a good exit here. He needs a good exit. Wants any chance of getting past Mason Gammon. Oh, but he's not had it. He's spun. He's had the opposite of a good exit. He has completely spun it on the final lap. And this is going to potentially drop him way down the field. It is. He's trying to rejoin safely. And Liam potentially from being on the a potential podium, at least P4, he's dropped all the way down to P8, and that is
a bit too much throttle on. He's just lost a last lap again.
Yeah, he's done 26 laps of no incidents there, and on the final lap he is spun, and that is
the same last week though.
That is painful.
And then is it second to last or last lap last week? And then he's ended up going down. So not looking good for him. 2 weeks.
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to now go back on board with the leader here. As Vapid Coot, he's led from the start pretty much to the finish. It's only a 1.4 second gap, but that does not tell the full tale of how comfortable this race was. Vapid takes the victory. His teammate VR in P2. Mason comes home in P3 after Liam's spin at the end. Shaggy comes home in P4. Owen in P5, but Preds, with a lack of penalties, does pip him at the line. Adrian in P7. Liam is going to come home in P8, despite that late spin, with Alan making his tyres last to the end. Dropping down to P10. P11 actually, he's lost the points. His Legend gets a point. A couple of points. Moley in P10, rounding out the top 10. Wow, I mean,
that was
a bit of a slow burn of that race, but
at least he got there in the end.
A great battle for the podium. So it's going to get Vapid Coot, VR46, and Mason Gammon into the party.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations to those guys on their podiums. Yeah, what an interesting race that was.
Yeah, it got very spicy at the end with Liam spinning on the last lap as well. There's some decent battles as well, a few incidents, but overall, it's a pretty entertaining race.
Indeed, and as the game's given Driver of the Day to Owen, and it's a difficult one for Driver of the Day. I'd personally be more inclined to give it to Preds than Owen for his result, given that lack of penalties and getting that P5 rather than P6. But also you gotta as well say Vapid, VR, Mason on their podiums, excellent drives from all of them. Yeah, who would you give it to? Who would you give Driver of the Day to?
The mic's working.
Keep it in mind.
Yeah, as I was saying, 'cause I forgot I muted my mic. I'd say I'd probably just give it to Preds, even though it was strong from Vapikus and VR and that. But Preds with no penalties managed to get up to 5th from 13th on the grid. Pretty strong.
Yeah, and a very unorthodox strategy, and he did make it work. So yeah, I think that is a very good shout. Preds driver of the day. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you all enjoyed the race. People aren't joining the party for some reason. That's.
Sent a few invites.
I've sent a few invites as well. Yeah, we'll give it a minute, and if they don't join, then stop. But yeah, Vapid VR, Mason, Shaggy, Preds, Owen, Adrian, Liam, Legend, Moley, Alan, Danny D, Ellis, Bad Otter, South Raptor, Darren, Morris, Morgan, Primus. Is your grid? Your grid order. Mason has not sent the invite, but yeah, I think there's probably just. I do remember Mason not having a mic previously, so I think it might just be the two Alfa Romeos. So, do you want to do VR and I'll do Vapid, maybe?
Yeah, can do.
Sweet. Excellent. Yeah.
Right, so we'll get on with it then, if Mason's not joining. And VR is started on pole. It's a strong race from Alfa Romeo and finishing 2nd. So it wasn't too bad. How did the race feel like it was for you?
I thought it went alright. I just tried to catch up to my teammate, but didn't work because he was too fast, and can't remember who was behind me. I think it was Mason, just kept catching me like a couple of attempts every lap, and I almost got a penalty because of it. But yeah, I think I get P3 anyway because I have 5 seconds from Baku.
Yeah, 5 seconds carried over.
I think so, yeah.
I didn't think 5-second penalties were carried. I don't think they were carried
I don't think penalties are carried over.
I don't know. I didn't. Yeah. Either way, it's a podium.
Yeah. So congrats on your P2. Are you it's Austria next? So you're looking forward to Austria and carry on this Alfa Romeo dominance.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. It's one of my strong tracks, and I hope to have a good battle with some other drivers there.
Yeah, so great stuff then. Congratulations on 2nd place on a podium.
Cheers.
Yeah. And now your race winner, Vapid Coot, and yeah, great drive from yourself. You got your teammate at the start, then pulled that 1 second margin to get yourself comfortably out of the DRS, and then kept that for the rest of the race. It looked relatively comfortable. You were able to take your mediums longer than most due to the gap you had to the rest of the field, obviously, and yeah, controlled it from there. So first of all, congratulations. Second of all, how was that drive for you?
Well, yeah, thank you very much. Congrats. First of all, congrats to VR. You did a brilliant job. Yeah, the first stint, I was genuinely quite shocked at how well my race pace was. France is not really a particularly strong track for me, so the fact that my pace was pretty strong, I was pleasantly quite surprised. I thought I was going to be slower than VR actually, but because he is really quick. But yeah, I'm surprised that I actually had pulled the gap in the first stint. And then after I had made my second, after I had hit and went into my second stint, I then discovered that my fuel was actually running low. So for that whole second stint, I had to lift and coast, and I was to put it bluntly, I was sweating quite a lot, thinking I wasn't going to finish the race and lose this like on the last lap or something. But I managed to just bring it home with like 1 lap spare fuel just in the tank left. But it was really cutting it fine. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the race went. I brought home the best I could, and yeah, it's the best what I could ask for. So yeah, it's a good result for the team around, and we move on.
Before this race, you were 21 points behind your teammate in fight for the championship. Ellis was between you, but of course had a poor race today, so that does put you into P2 in the championship, and now 15 points behind your teammate, as it is an Alfa Romeo 1-2 now. So you're thinking about that? Do you think you're going to have a bit of a battle with your teammate for the rest of the season? We saw you working together a bit in qualifying, so there's a bit of teamwork there. But yeah, are you looking forward to this? Do you think this can continue for later races? And how are you looking for the rest of the season?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really thinking about the championship right now because anything can still happen, and you know, I'm still 15, 14 or something like that behind VR, so there's no point thinking ahead of that. It's you just take it one race at a time and just see what happens. But I'd say in the last few races, I'm really happy with my improvements that I've made. Yeah, I've just got to keep my head down and just keep it consistent, and hopefully we'll get there eventually. But yeah, congrats to the whole team in general. I won too. I couldn't be more happy with that. So yeah.
Yeah, and can I confirm, is that your first victory you've had so far, I think? First ever victory?
It's my first
in this league
victory
anyway?
in SLR.
Yeah, in this league, of course. Obviously, in other leagues you may have had some, but yeah, congratulations on that as a first win. It is first win. I think does always. You do always feel like when will it come? I do remember racing last season, and there were a couple of times. I think in particular Australia last season where you definitely could have got one.
But I was on the verge of taking it then in Division 1, but sadly got kind of collected in an accident, and that paid dividends to that. So I've been close to many times, but just bad luck struck me. But I'm glad that everything went my way today, and finally I managed to get my first win. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, excellent drive from yourself, and yeah, I think that is all we got time for though. And yeah, Mason Gammon, unfortunately, we cannot speak to him, as he said in the stream chat he's got to dash off. But yeah, yeah, very exciting race I thought. Nice and close throughout the entire field, some good battles, and some carnage as always in Division 2. Yeah, from me and SLR Marsh, thank you all for watching, and please join us again tomorrow at 6 PM for Division 3. And happy Easter, everyone.